Welcome back for another episode of SSD Mythbusters. My name is Jeremy Worley, and this is a podcast where each episode we take on a myth in the world of Social Security disability law. And we do it by asking the question to our Social Security disability attorney of over 20 years, Josh Worley, and let him tell us all about it. So, Josh, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so today's myth is you have to have your condition listed on the listings in order to be approved. In other words, is there some magic list that your condition has to be on to get approved?
Okay, so this myth is not true. Let me explain what some people don't know what a listing is. Have no idea what that's all about.
And that's me.
That is you. You're the one that's out there that when you see listings, you're like, what's that?
Yeah, I said it like I knew what it was, so I was hoping that meant something to you. Tell us what.
Okay, so the listings is with Social Security they call it a listing of impairments. And basically what that means is there is a list of issues that are out there that if you meet those certain specific qualifications, those specific characteristics, then you can basically automatically qualify for Social Security disability. So it basically, let me give you an example. That's the easiest way to do it. If you have diabetes and there's a listing of impairments under diabetes and I don't know it off the top of my head. It's the listings. They'll say, okay, you have diabetes. You must have this, and this to qualify for that listing. And they'll say, okay, you've got, just as an example, you have 4 specific medical records, 4 specific treatments in the last 6 months where your numbers are over such and such amount. And you have neuropathy in your feet that is documented by a nerve conduction study, and it lists out. It's got all these different things that you have to meet to fall under that listing. And really, one of the things that people can do out there is they can specifically Google. Let's say you've got diabetes. You can say, what is the listing of impairments? What is the Social Security disability listing of impairments for diabetes? And it'll give you that information. It'll kind of tell you everything that you've got to meet. The reality is that very few people fall under the listings, and because it's such a strict standard, it's very difficult to fall under those listings. So for the majority of people out there that eventually get approved, it's not because they meet a listing. It is because they have specific limitations due to their health that prevent them from being able to work a full-time job. So just because you don't necessarily meet a listing, if you pull that information up and you Google that and you say, oh, darn, I don't fall under that, then that does not mean that you don't have a good disability case. It is really more, everybody that's not under a listing, it's more about consistent medical treatment, specific limitations, day-to-day limitations that impact your ability to function day in and day out. And so that's more often the case. Someone that gets approved is under that kind of an evaluation and that determination rather than meeting a listing.
Okay. Interesting. So is the way to think about it then essentially this list, it's called the listings, a list of conditions that Social Security puts out, and there are certain criteria that go along with each condition that if someone happens to meet that, then is it automatic that they could be approved if they have enough credits and all that? Yes. From a medical disability standpoint, if they meet the criteria set out in these listings, they can be automatically approved.
That is, yes.
But if they don't, it sounds like most do not fall under the listings. They might have some of the conditions. So it's not a bar, but if they do meet it, then it's could be automatically approved from a disability standpoint.
Yes, that is exactly right. And it's pretty common that, when we've, I've got a claimant or a client that I'm representing, and I'll look at the listing and I'll say, okay, there's 5 things that they have to meet, and darn, we met 3 of them, but we didn't meet the last 2. And in that situation, That just means we're not gonna qualify under a listing, but all of these other things that are going on, the three things that you do have going on that are on that list, still are important issues that are part of your claim.
Okay. Well, that's really helpful. I was not familiar with listings. If someone wants to find it, did you say they just Google?
Yeah, you can Google, give me the listing of impairments for diabetes, and it'll give you some links and it'll take you to that information.
And is that put out by Social Security, or is that like an AMA guideline type?
That is a Social Security listing. That's put out by Social Security.
All right, so there's our takeaway. You do not have to be on the listing, your condition be included in the listings, but if you are, that would be, you can get approved. But if you aren't, and we found that the listing, there's kind of this list of conditions with some criteria that go with it, and if you meet that, then great, you can get approved. If not, though, it's not a bar to your claim. So, all right, hopefully you found this information helpful. I know I did. I learned a lot from it. Josh, thank you. If you found it helpful, give us a follow. We're going to keep putting out videos and content for you. Or you can also, if you want to reach out to us and our Social Security team, we are at the Injury and Disability Law Center. Josh and our Social Security team handle cases all over the country, help lots of folks out there. So you can find us at idlawcenter.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.